Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's another Saturday, so you know what that means. I have a cute project for us. What you see in front of you are 3 little baskets. I was just going out looking for something that I might be able to make using scraps. I think you remember my back in December, I showed you how to take scraps we had left of DSP to make Christmas cards with. Well, my scraps are a little bit smaller, so I just needed a project where I could use pieces that weren't any larger than 2 by 2. And other than the cardstock, that's what you see in front of you. There are lots of video tutorials on YouTube that talk about baskets, but most of those are done using an envelope punch board. And I did make one like that. You can see that right here. This is made with the envelope punch board and some of our in color paper DSP. And it's cute, but I wanted something a little bit different. So Kim Vogel is a YouTuber who had a great idea for doing baskets that don't involve using an envelope punch board, because not everybody has one. Hi, Roz. So I wanted to be able to make a video tutorial that anybody could follow along. You don't have to have an envelope punch board. All you need are a pair of scissors, our trusty glue, some 6x6 cardstock, and little scraps of DSP. Another reason I wanted to do this project, let me just bring this in here. Oof! This is all DSP leftover from 2017. So yeah, I'm bad about using up my DSP. And one of my New Year's resolutions was I told myself this year, I am not going to have so much DSP. Ooh, let me put that down. And this project is perfect for that. So I guess we could call this a Scraptacular Saturday, since we're going to be working with scraps. Now, I know normally when we make things like this, they're treat holders, right? Well, I'm trying to lose a few pounds, and I thought other people, I'm sure, get tired of treats too. What else could we use this for? Well, guess what? I can take and fit spools of ribbon in here. So there's a handy little gift right there. So you can fit 2 regular size spools of ribbon. And I'm sure there are lots of other ideas that you guys can come up with. All right, well, let me put these aside and we will get started. And this is going to go really quickly. I think you'll be surprised at how quickly it goes. So as I mentioned, we start with a scrap of paper, or our cardstock, I should say, that is 6x6. And the really nice thing about a 6x6 piece of cardstock is it leaves you enough left over to have a mat for a card. So you're able to use the scraps left over from the cardstock in another card. Again, getting rid of the scraps. Okay, so let me bring out my scoreboard here. And this is going to be so simple to remember. Doesn't matter which end is up, since I've got 6x6. You're going to score at 2 inches and at 4 inches. Then you're going to rotate it 90 degrees and you'll score again at 2 inches and 4 inches. And that's it. That's all the scoring we need to do. So we'll put our scoreboard away here and we will fold and burnish because we want our basket to have some nice crisp lines on it. All right, so that's done. And now we're going to make 4 cuts. Again, it doesn't matter where you start since it's the same all the way around. You're going to cut up these 2, whichever side you choose, cut up the score line for both of them, and then rotate it 180 degrees. So your cut is at the top And you're going to cut the 2 score lines going up on that side. Just like that. Hello, Anne. How's the weather in Massachusetts? Okay, let me show you. This is really how quickly it comes together. You're going to take these 2, the middle ones, and stand them up. And then you're going to take these 2 sides, and what we want to do is make the point of each one meet in the middle. And that's what forms our basket. Now, you can go ahead and do that and put your DSP on later. I like to put my DSP on while it's still flat. It's just a little bit easier for me. And what DSP are we going to use? Well, I have a lot of this Share What You Love in scraps. So I thought we'd go ahead and use that. And our measurement is going to be, since each of these squares is 2 inches, I'm going to cut my DSP at 1 7/8 square. So let me bring in the good old trimmer. And this paper does have a direction, so when we put it on, we're going to want to be careful, but cutting it doesn't matter because it's a square. So we'll go to the 1 7/8. And then again, 1 7/8 and 1 7/8. So there, out of that 1 scrap, that's all I have left. I need 2 more. So we'll take this one, and I think I'm going to cut my 1 7/8 this way and then trim it down, since I know there's going to be more DSP than I need. And now that leaves me this, which I will find a use for. So now let me trim this down to 1 7/8. And this one. Now the other really nice thing is, since we did the basket in cardstock, we don't have to mat these layers. That was another thing I liked about this project. Okay, so keeping in mind top and bottom there, because trust me, when I did this, I put them all on the wrong way on my first one. So I like to kind of fold this up and know that that's the top, so I can glue that down. And it's mint macaron. It's one of the colors in the DSP pack that I'm using. And as you can see, that 1 7/8 just leaves me a nice, tiny little border all the way around. We'll do it again with this one. Oops. As I get glue all over the place. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to turn it around and do the same on this side. That way I know which way is up. As my husband will tell you, I am directionally challenged. All right, 1 more piece, and then we can put it together. And I love using my liquid glue for that. You guys know I need to squiggle. Okay, so we didn't put any DSP on these center areas because for the most part, they're going to be hidden. All right, now all I have to do is figure out where am I putting my glue to hook everything down. And I've seen some people just go ahead and put glue on the top half of this, and you certainly could do that, but then they have to put additional glue. I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way. And what I mean by that is, so I know where my point is, I'll take this one away, and I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to lift this up and apply my glue where I know I need it. And then just hold it in place, giving it a moment. Okay, so now I can put glue here on this side, and I'm not taking it all the way down there because it would make the part that doesn't stick down be too sticky. See, if I had it down here, I guess you could, but since you're not taking it apart, but I just found it works better. So there's one side right there. Hello, Patricia. Boy, everybody's just jumping in today. I'm so glad you guys have joined me. Okay, so let's do the same thing over on this side. Figure out where my corners are. And then I'm going to cheat and put it all the way down there. So I've got that. If you get any that swidges off, I like to take a baby wipe, which I keep handy. I don't use them for cleaning my stamps, but they are great for getting excess glue off your project. There we go. All right, and now same thing. I'm going to hold this up and know that I need to go from right there all the way down that way. And then just bring my points together. So that was pretty easy, right? And we can see our pretty DSP. Okay, next we need to do our handle. And for the handle, what I did was I cut a little bit of that leftover mint macaron I had from the 6x6 piece. And this measures 3/4 of an inch by 6 inches. And that's going to attach. And a handy tip, go ahead and use your bone folder to curl the basket handle, and it'll be much easier to work with. And then I only need to put glue at the very bottom here. And I'm putting it on the outside because we're going to tuck this in. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little ledge right there. Whoops, right there. That's kind of my benchmark for where I want to glue it down. Just making sure I'm central in that spot. Again, I'm going to put glue on the outside and tuck it down until it meets that ledge and just hold on to it. Okay. So there we have a pretty little handle. But what if you wanted to decorate that with some DSP? Well, I could have put the DSP on before I glued it down, but sometimes you don't think about those things until it actually happens. So what you could do is you could use another strip of DSP. You can use ribbon. You can really use anything you like. And let me see if I've got a piece of the DSP. Now it's not going to need to be 6 inches long because we've probably got about 3/4 of an inch tucked down. But we'll just guesstimate that 5 1/4 is going to be fine. And I have another piece right here of our DSP. So I'll go ahead and cut a 3/4, actually a 1/2 inch. I'm going to do 1/2 inch because the handle itself was 3/4. So I'll cut a 1/2 inch strip here. And then before I cut it at what I think is going to be 5 1/4, I'm just going to tuck this in here and get a good measurement. So we'll say this piece is going to be, did I do that right? I'm a goofball when it comes to measurements. I always have to ask my husband. I was not that great in math in school. Okay, so I'm going to cut this at 5 3/4. And that'll give me enough wiggle room. Can always cut off a little bit more, but you can never add once you've cut. Okay, so there is our strip. Now, you could use tear and tape if you want. I like my liquid glue because I never get it on straight the first time. So I'm just focusing more on the middle, making sure I've got enough glue. And then I can stick this down behind like that. And then I'm going to curve this around like so. And I'm going to cut a little bit of this off because I have to tuck it. So we will see if we can, nope, got to cut a little bit more off. So it probably is a great idea to do this before you put your handle on. But there we go. Got it taken care of without too much fuss. All right, so our basket looks cute, but we need to decorate it a little bit. So what I did was I went to the First Frost. Is that what it is? And I stamped and die cut the roses. I did 2 large roses and 4 small roses, so I could have decoration on either side. And then also the berry branch. And that we're going to put right there. And I think I'm going to pop that up on Dimensionals just to give it a little more interest. Now you could just do a ribbon bow like I did with this one, if you didn't want to go to all the trouble of stamping and die cutting. So that was one of the things I really liked about this project, is you can have a lot of fun with it. You can use up retiring DSP. It's perfect for teachers' gifts, or if there's a party at your child's school that you need to, boy, that one's not sticking at all, that you need to make little favors for. It's also great for birthday parties. Or, oh, here's a great idea. You could make one of these if you were having a dinner party and put, just cut out a piece of Whisper White and write the person's name on it so they know where they're supposed to sit. So the possibilities are endless. And before I put these on here, I did hit the roses with some Wink of Stella to make them shiny. But that is really all there is to making baskets like that. Now, I really like it with the cardstock and with the DSP, coordinating DSP. But I wondered, could you just make it with DSP, which is what I did here, but this is really flimsy. I would probably not put anything in there because I'm afraid it would just go all out of shape. But if you remember, we have some great DSP that has a lot of weight to it. And the Share What You Love DSP is excellent for that, because as you can see, it just has a lot of weight. It's much heavier. So let's just pull one out and we'll real quick see what we can come up with. Let's find a pretty one here. They're all pretty, but let's do this one. And I have, do I have some? Now the nice thing about this is if you make it out of DSP, you don't need to cut the small pieces to go on as mats. So let me show you what I mean. I'm just going to cut this real quick, doing it off screen. Apologize for that, but there's just no room on my desk for my trimmer. Had a hard enough time balancing my scoreboard on there. Okay, there's our 6x6. And then I want to cut a 3/4 inch piece for the basket handle. But you know what? I'm going to wait on that because maybe it would look better if it wasn't so matchy-matchy. All right? Because that's a whole lot of flowers going on. So let's give this a quick score. And remember, 2 inches and 4 inches. I really like it when it's something that easy to remember. 2 inches and 4 inches. And let's see how quickly we can get this one to come together. Well, that's a pretty inside. So, anybody doing anything fun this weekend? We finally have a beautiful sunny day, and my cherry tree is really trying to put out its blooms. All right, so let me just go ahead and, ooh, can I see my score lines on here? There we go. Some of this DSP, that is a little challenging sometimes, but I think I got it. We'll know in a minute when I go put it together if I'm actually cutting those score lines. I guess I could turn it over, but I think it would be just as hard to see it on that point. All right, so there's our cutting done. These 2 pieces are going to fold in. So this is going to come up with the points like that. So let me get out my glue. My glue is going to be down here and along here. So that's one. And then my glue is going to go from here all the way up. That was probably the hardest thing for me the first time I made it, was making sure that I had glue in the right places. Because you don't want your box to be all tacky, right? Okay, so that's one down. And let's get this one done. So from there all the way to there. And from right there. Oop, I got glue squidging out. That's where my baby wipes come in handy. All right, so there is our actual basket. Whoops, didn't hold it long enough, I guess. Now, the reason I didn't cut out that 3/4 inch strip is because I'm afraid by itself it's going to be kind of hidden. What if we take a small piece of rich razzleberry and we cut the base of the basket with that, and then see what else we can do. So going into my scraps here, I know I have some rich razzleberry. Oop, I think that's Blackberry Bliss, but you know, that would work too. But let's see. Here we go. There's rich razzleberry. I think I'm going to like that better. So I've got a nice strip there. I'm just going to cut it down. Maybe I'll be lucky. Oh, it's already 3/4. Yay. So let's do it by 6 inches. Come on, board. There we go. All right, so there's our piece of that. And now what if we were to lay a 1/2 inch strip on top of that? Let's see how that works together. So what do you guys think? Should we do it that way? Oh, I'm thinking that gives it some really nice definition between the handle and the basket part. And yes, you absolutely could use brads. As a matter of fact, Kim might have done that in her video, but I didn't have any brads, so I'm just kind of winging it. But brads would be awesome. Someday I will have to invest in those, because I've seen a lot of project with them and they're really cute. There's another basket out there. It's more like a picnic basket that's articulated or cantilevered, whatever they call it. And that one is done using brads. Okay. Make sure, yep, that's dry enough. And now I'm going to gently give it a curve. Since we put the DSP on, it's a little stiff, but we can coax it. Yeah. And then we'll just go ahead. And this time I'm going to put this whole thing on the inside right off the bat. So we'll do that, and then we'll come over here and do the same on this side. All right, so there's our basket put together. Now, how do we want to embellish it? I don't have any more die cuts, but let's see if we've got some ribbon that we could use. This is not exactly rich razzleberry, but you know, it's close enough. I think it'll work. So let's go ahead and do that, which is good because now I'm using up end of spool of my ribbons before I open another pack. So I think I want it bigger than that. And this is just a little bow maker that I picked up from Amazon because I am so bad at tying bows. You guys would sit here and watch me for half an hour just trying to tie a bow. And I can do it so quick and easy if I do it this way. Okay, if I can get my fingers to go the right way. There we go. Makes a perfect bow every time. So we'll pull that off, separate my loops. I did a double bow. Oh, I think that's cute. Pull my tails down and grab my glue dots. And stick it right there at the juncture. And then trim up my tails. All right, and then I would make a bow for the other side as well, but you guys don't need to watch me do that. You get the general idea. All right, so any questions about being able to make cute little baskets that use up your scraps? Oh, Raj, your hubby fell asleep. Well, mine's taking a nap too. It's always nice when the house is quiet and you're trying to do things. All right. Well, that's all I had to show you today. I promise I will try to do better at getting dimensions and card cuts up on my blog. I just have to kind of do it when hubby doesn't need me. But I will for sure put these on my blog. If you have any questions about it, you can also leave me a comment below, and I will be more than happy to help you with that. If you need any products ordered and you're not a demonstrator, you'll be able to order those off of my blog, which is cardsbywinnie.wordpress.com. I will let you all get back to your Saturdays. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you next Saturday. Bye-bye now.